Hey guys, it's your boy LOZA. Today we're looking at Team Sam's list. He topped with this list, and to be honest, parts of it are not that great. There are some cool spicy techs in here, and I do like that he's modernized his build. He's cut down to 2 Dark Magicians, as you can see here, which is just such a great start. Let's move on. He's playing Ecclesia. Fan-fucking-tastic. He's playing a Dogmatica engine. That is so crazy. Here's the shit part. He's not playing Nadir. He's side-decking Nadir. To me, that is so bizarre. I'm not sure why you would side deck Nadir. It's one of the most insane cards in the game. Nadir by itself nets you Ecclesia, Punishment, and Fleur-de-Lis in the hand. He's not playing Fleur-de-Lis, and that's fine. That just means he'll send like something else. Like he can send Wind Pegasus. He can send Dark Magician the Dragon Knight. And that's fine. He could send like Cyframe Omega if he wanted. But anyway, his Nadir options are very like large. He can go for anything. But I like to send Titanic Dragon because then you get to add Fleur-de-Lis as well. And I like to play Fleur-de-Lis. It is an extender as well. The cool thing about Fleur-de-Lis is if you open like Magician's Rod and Fleur-de-Lis, you can normal summon Rod, get your search, link it into Wildermist, and then Fleur-de-Lis can special summon. That gets you Anaconda. So Fleur-de-Lis never bricks. Ecclesia never bricks. The Dogmatica package itself just doesn't. No cards in the main deck are a brick. And that's what makes it so important. And the fact that Sam's now playing Dogmatica does make me very happy. He's realized it's good. He's playing 3 Punishment. He'll show off later. But he's siding the Nadirs. And that I gotta disagree with. That just seems so far-fetched. Yeah, I know he's copying someone else. I can't remember their name exactly. But I'm not sure on the logic behind it. But to me, Nadir Servant playing first is insane. Nadir Servant playing second is probably more insane. Because you can send Elder Entity and get a pop. It also will beta response for your Red Eyes Fusion. I think that's the craziest thing. You play Nadir's Servant, your opponent ashes it, you've got your Red Eyes for free now. That's come up for me a lot playing second. It's come up for me playing first. Like, I'm just trying to think of, like, when Nadir's bad, and I can't think of it. Nadir's only bad if you've resolved Anaconda Dragoon, right? But by then you have Dragoon, so who the fuck cares? You have Nadir for next turn at that point. So, yeah, kind of weird to me that you'd side deck Nadir. He said he sided it in for games where it was slower. But I feel like in Dark Magician, you're playing that much back row and floodgate kind of stuff, especially in his build, that you could just play the Nadirs. Like, I don't know. His logic behind it seems a little scuffed, but whatever. It's not my deck list, so...
Insane. One of the best cards in the deck.
It does what it do, you.
Time with card.
3 Circle, like, this is... weird, man. Like, Circle is so bad. It just doesn't do what it's meant to do. It's meant to add us a Dark Magician card. Unless you're playing in Duel Links where your deck's 20 cards, this card barely ever gets you a card that you need. A lot of the Dark Magician spell traps are terrible, to be frank. And the only good ones are like Soul Servant, 1 Salvation, couple of Eternal Soul. There's not much else you want outside of that. Maybe Secrets of Dark Magic. So, Circle doesn't hit. It can either add Dark Magician as well, which you don't want, or it can add another copy of Circle, which you don't really want on that turn, maybe later. So, Circle is just really bad right now, and playing 3 is terrible in my opinion. Some people have mentioned, like, oh, you can play Circle to bait Ash. Anyone who's ashing Circle, you're winning the game against anyway. Like, that's just so bizarre to me that they're caveman like. That's not a reason to play Circle at 3. Circle is definitely a hard 2. I've been playing it at 1 for a long time, and I'm starting to think 2 is the magic number. Michael's been playing it at 2, a couple other people playing it at 2. Some people trying it at 1 as well, and they've said it was fine. But I am starting to think 2 is probably more the number to go for. And if you're scared about playing 1, like a lot of people have been, just play 2. Like, please try not playing 3, because 3 is just so fucking bad.
The 1 Magician Salvation.
That's correct, 1 Salvation. Amazing.
Is all you need for the deck.
It's all you need. This makes me so happy. Thank you. Thank you, Sam. See, I've been preaching 3 Red Eyes Fusion for so long. And people have called me crazy. People have been like, but what do the others do? People just... I don't know. People just can't seem to understand. This card does what Magician Souls does, but better. It puts the Dark Magician in your bin. It even puts the Red Eyes in your bin, so you're not going to draw it. And it gives you Dragoon. Wow. For some reason, people are like, I don't want to play Dragoon Turbo, even though they're playing Dark Magician. And Sam actually says it in this video. He's like, people are like, oh, I don't want to play Dragoon Turbo. And he's like, bro, it's Dark Magician. Thank you. That is another great point, Sam. This is literally Dark fucking Magician. That's our boss monster. If you're not turboing it out, what the fuck are you doing? Honestly. And if you really want to get picky about it, if you draw multiple, playing second, it's perfect, because if they have judgments and stuff, you just bait out the judgments, get them down 4k, play another ref, your Dragoon comes out, goes pop pop, and you've won the fucking game right there. It's just too insane. And yes, you do lose to Ash with this card, but guess what? You have a 33% chance of opening ref, they got a 33% chance of opening Ash if they're playing 40 cards. I don't see the problem. It's just a Red Eyes Fusion forces your opponent to have the out, or they're going to suffer, basically. And I just think it's kind of magic in this deck. And if you have it with Nadir, as I said earlier, it's even better. You can go Nadir to bait the Ash. Obviously, they can go spell Nadir as well, but you could just get a free ref from there. And the thing is, people are like, oh, what if they don't Ash Nadir? Well, you do Nadir stuff. You get Ecclesia, you get your punishment, you get your fleur-de-lis. Like, it's not bad either way. Whether you're Nadir or your ref resolves, like, either one is pretty damn good for the Dark Magician deck. Obviously, Nadir, you normally want to do at the end of your plays, so you could do your Magician's Rod and Magician's Soul stuff, and if that gets negated, you go for Nadir. Or you could even go up to Anaconda and Dragoon, and then Nadir. Like, there's not much point because you can't summon the Ecclesia, but you might need just the Send to Grave for something, I don't know. But the point is, Nadir's normally you do it at the end of your plays, and Red Eyes Fusion's obviously the start of your plays. But if you have both in your hand, you can just make the decision to go Nadir, got negated, ref. Or Nadir, didn't get negated, alright, I guess I'll use ref next turn. And that means you have to not use your punishment as well, because obviously if you punishment, you can't ref. But you should only be activating punishment if your opponent threatens your board, or threatens your lethal, sorry, I should say. If they threaten to kill you, then obviously you've got to flip punishment. If they're not, then you save it so you can ref next turn and then punishment later. So Sam played the 1 Secrets, and look, I still hate Secrets. I just think it's such a bad card, like it's so dated. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's a good card, it can fusion, it can ritual, it's quick play. And yeah, those things are average. Like, it's not a hype card. It's no Invocation. It's no Red Eyes Fusion. It's no Ultimate Fusion. It's no Neos Fusion. It doesn't compare to any of those cards. And a lot of people seem to back up their reason for playing it with, oh, it won me this game. Oh, it won me that game. Because, you know, you can swing in Battle Phase and then fuse and then swing in Battle Phase. But, like, by that logic, I could just play Super Poly and do the same thing. And Super Poly is just a better card than this. I know this is searchable, so I do think if you are playing it, please just play it at 1. Once again, Secrets is okay. That's the thing. It's okay. It's not great. It's not trash, but it's just slightly above that. Sam's playing a bunch of trap cards here, and they're all fine. They're all good. Dark Magician likes traps. That's fine. Triple Punishment's cool. You can play 2 as well, because you're obviously searching it easily. But I'm fine with 3 too. Just make sure you're playing 2 Identity and Atis. I was playing with 1, and it's really bad. Ice Dragon's Prison is an interesting one, because this card doesn't hit Drytron, like, at all. And Drytron's kind of come back a lot. But I guess you can just side it out. Yeah, I would say play Ice Prisons. It's fine. I do like Torrential in this deck, because obviously we're Dragoon summoning a lot, and Dragoon and Torrential have that synergy. So here's Sam's Floodgates, and Skill Drain's there. Fuck yeah, Skill Drain's amazing. Rivalry's pretty good too. I don't mind Rivalry. I play a lot of weird shit, like Dogmatica packages and whatnot, so, sorry, Sky Striker packages and whatnot. So I don't know if I would play Rivalry. I'm definitely going to give it more of a go. I used to play a lot of Gozen, and Sam is siding Gozen. It's kind of the same vibe, so it's fine. It's cool. I dig it. Floodgates and Dark Magician are a good win con. I really like Summon Limit, but Summon Limit is only good turn 1. If you don't see it turn 1, like, it's shit from there onwards. These can be still relevant past turn 1. If they don't get negated on flip. If you have them with Strike, it's just crazy, so that's normally what you want. Solemn Strike and a Floodgate, and then even playing second, those cards are still useful now. Sam is playing Double Dragoon, which I do love to see. I've been dropping the Dark Magicians from my builds, because, I don't know, I have never found it that real good. Like, it's a good card, but it just doesn't come up as much for me. And if I could summon it, I could just make another Dragoon, so I just do that. But look, play it. It's a fine card, especially if you're playing Secrets. Dark Magician the Dragonite's still amazing, and it synergizes with the Dogmatica package if you have to send it off Nadir. So that's really cool. Yeah, it's just a good card. I wish we could summon it a bit easier. So Sam is playing the Titanic Ash Dragon, but he's still side decking Nadir. That's just strange to me, but sure. 2 Identity, that's pretty correct. You probably don't need much more than that, really. So this is where the build gets really weird. Sam mentions playing Big Eye, which is like, okay, he's playing around the rivalry he's main decking. Obviously, Zeus isn't a spellcaster, but let's ignore that for a second. How is he putting Zeus on Big Eye? If he's activating Big Eye's effect and stealing a monster, Big Eye cannot attack that turn. Where the fuck is this Zeus going? I don't understand how he's using Zeus. If this was Ebon Illusion Magician, this would make sense. If this was Red Eye's Flare Metal, this would make more sense. If he did this at any time in the tournament, he was cheating and no one caught him out for it. So, I'm not saying he did it intentionally. He probably just didn't realize. But Big Eye cannot attack the turn it steals a card. Yeah, I like Big Eye, don't get me wrong, but you just can't Big Eye into Zeus. Another thing is, I don't think XYZs are good right now. I just think they're slow and horrible. And just, you know, while Dragoon's around, we just make Anaconda, baby. Now, Sam plays Link Spider, which is fine. I play Link Spider, but mainly because I play the Sky Striker package. The reason that this isn't Imduk just baffles me. The fact that he plays Link Spider over Imduk, crazy. I don't know why. He's even playing Secrets of Dark Magic. So in my opinion, there's no reason for him to play this other than it's an ulti that he wants to show off. This should be Imduk because it can potentially make Dark Magician the Dragon Knight. It can make a second Dragoon. The possibilities are endless. It's just a silly mistake on his behalf. I hope he does play Imduk soon, but sure, whatever. It's not the biggest deal. So he's got the Selene access code package. I think that's fine. It OTKs, it's good. Now we get into the sideboard. Obviously, sideboard is personal preference plus like what your locals meta is. I like this. Inspector Borders, I know a lot of people hate it, but it's degenerate, and that's the way we got to win sometimes. As Sam said, Sam's literally saying like people cite in back row removal, and they don't cite in shit to deal with this. I mean, people will have imperms and droplets and stuff, but the point is they have to play around another floodgate in the form of a monster. And that's really good. Yeah, you don't get to summon Rod now, but I think it's worth it. You can just go for Dark Magician beatdown with Floodgates in this, and I think that's pretty good. It also contrasts with Rivalries, so I guess he just sides out the Rivalries for those. Here's the Nadirs in the side. I don't get it. I'm not going to say it again. I don't get it. Hit me up in the comments as to why you think Nadir in the side is relevant. Broken Line, this is a super troll card. I do dig this. This is funny as fuck. When people were playing this in that big trap Eldritch list that came out ages ago, I just think it's funny. Go for it. If you want to play Broken Line, play Broken Line. I think it's fucking spicy. Heavy Storm Duster is an interesting take because I've always liked it. It's a 2-for-1 without the discard, and in Dark Magician, we don't want to discard cards. We barely got any to begin with. Goes in Match is pretty fucking cool. I don't mind it. It's a good replacement for Rivalry. And then he's playing the third, and the Imperial. Overall, not a bad list. There's just some small inconsistencies, like the Big Eye thing, the Artemis, not playing Artemis. That's so fucking weird to me. I'm going to show you one of his hands here at the end. Hand of Dogmatic Punishment, Torrential, Circle, Ice Dragon's Rod. Let's have a look.
Oh, wow. This hand is ridiculous. You can go Rod. I would add Soul Servant. I'll go Soul Servant. I would stack Dark Magician. And then go Circle.
I don't think I've ever stacked Dark Magician with Soul Servant, by the way. That's so weird.
Real 3. Obviously get the Ice Dragon Prison. Stack that on top.
Like, if you had Eternal Soul, it'd be kind of fair enough, but he don't.
The deck. And you set this, and you pass. You have 1, 2, 3 interruptions, 4 interruptions right here in forms of traps. If the board is threatening, you can go Punishment right here. You can send Titaniclide to the graveyard, pop a monster, and then during the end phase, you activate Titaniclide's effect. You search Ecclesia, right? Which is really, really good. So that way that you have access to more interruptions. And now at this point, like, you just need to...
So pretty much the only reason his board survives is because he has Punishment and Torrential and all this good shit that can back it up.
You just need to
control
the board.
Fine.
Really hope you draw into Eternal Soul, right? So that's pretty much it. You draw.
Yeah, he's just hoping to draw Eternal Soul, which is kind of bad.
A card, Rivalry Warlord.
Oh, it's not Eternal Soul. What do?
Lords. Okay, you summon Ecclesia, activate Ecclesia's effect.
You just do Punishment.
So it's like, you guys get the gist of this deck, right? It's just like more control. You don't always get Dragoon, but when you do, you guarantee win. But if you don't get the Dragoon, you have like a bunch of traps you can just back up with, right? Like this is, how are they, like, can you explain to me how they're...
Like, he's right that, like, what deck's playing through all these traps, but at the same time, you lose hard to evenly matched Lightning Storm, Duster, Cosmic, Twin Twister. So playing this kind of shit in Game 2 and 3 is so fucking hard. This stuff is great in Dark Magician Game 1, but it's Game 2 and 3 where this shit falls apart. But anyway.
They're beating this. If they have Lightning Storm and Harpy's Feather Duster,
yep,
you're good. You know what I'm saying? Like you're literally amazing. You're the best.
But here's the thing, they are going to have one of those things. Like, moving on. So I've got an exact copy of Sam's hand here, and this is great because I've been wanting to make a video on this for a long time. If you ever open Rod with just a bunch of back row, it's actually really good, and I'm going to show you why. Here's what you want to do. Obviously, you need Rod to not get hand trapped, which is kind of hard. But if your Rod doesn't get hand trapped, you're in such a good position. You have confirmed Dragoon for next turn. Let me show you how we're going to do that. You can activate the circle, it's totally up to you. In this scenario, I'm going to make it whiff into Red Eyes Fusion just because we do not want to see that. Obviously, that makes Red Eyes Fusion, Dragoon, but we're not doing that. So we're setting Soul Servant. We're just setting our whole hand here. So Sam activated Soul Servant and added Dark Magician, and I got a fat disagree with that. That was really weird. You're going to link Rod into Artemis. I don't know why Sam isn't playing this card. It's absolutely crazy. Sorry about that. Alright. So on the opponent's turn, obviously at any point you can activate your Torrential Tribute in response to their stuff, Ice Prison, or Punishment. If you do, obviously you can't do Torrential Tribute because you'll lose Artemis. But let's say you go for Ice Dragon's Prison or Punishment, you'll flip them, and on a new chain after that trap resolves, you can activate Rod's effect in the grave, adding Artemis back to your hand. Now let's say you want to use Torrential, and your opponent is, you know, summoning monsters out the arse, and you clearly want to add your Rod back as well, well, you just have to activate Soul Servant first, and that's why I like adding Soul Servant, because it's a quick play you can set and flip it at any point in the opponent's turn, and do the Rod combo. So this is what can happen. You can verse an Eldritch deck, for example, or just another back row heavy deck, and they might just set a whole bunch of back row and pass back to you, and then you're like, I can't flip my Punishment, I can't flip my Prison, I can't flip my Torrential, how do I get Rod back? And this is how. With the set Soul Servant. So we wait till the end phase, and now it's the end phase. Amazing. We're going to flip the Soul Servant. We're going to stack Magician Souls. This is probably the most commonly stacked card. It is just so much value. On a new chain, Rod will trigger. We will tribute Artemis, add Rod back to hand. Of course, you could get hand trapped here, but it's very uncommon. It does happen sometimes. But you'll see, for turn, I'm now drawing Souls, and you know what Rod and Souls are. That's Anaconda. That's everything in the deck. That's how you play out a hand of Rod with a bunch of back row guys. So I was a little bit critical of Sam's build, but I think that's the nature of playing Dark Magician. We really want to push the deck to its limits, and that means we can't miss little things like Artemis, in my opinion. But let me finish by saying Sam does a lot of things right for the deck. He isn't playing hand traps, which is the best meta call. And Sam's normally good at meta calls. Crossout is everywhere right now. So instead of playing into hand traps, Sam has gone with the strong Solemn trap cards and the Floodgate trap cards. And that is absolutely on the money. Not to mention that he's put in a Dogmatica package, which is definitely the future of any control spellcaster deck. Those cards are just crazy good. He's pushing 3 Red Eyes Fusion, and I love 3 Red Eyes Fusion, not to mention 2 Dark Magician. That is definitely the way to go. So thank you, Sam, for showing the Dark Magician player base, casual and competitive, just better deck ratios and cards. However, on the other hand, Sam was also playing stuff like 3 Dark Magical Circle, which I think is very dated. He was missing crucial cards like Artemis in the extra deck. I think that is a big one. Plus, Nadir in the side is super weird. Nadir should be in the main if you're playing Ecclesia and Punishment. He had no way to summon Dark Magician the Dragon Knight, which was interesting. Like, I use it to send off Nadir sometimes, but he never mentioned that, so I don't know if he's doing that. He forgot I'm Duck, maybe. I'm not sure if he forgot it, or if he just doesn't play it. But he had Link Spider instead, which, if it was I'm Duck, he would have had a way to summon the Dark Magician Dragon Knight, so that's weird. Big Eye and Zeus was just such a fuck-up, but I'm sure that's an easy fix by it being an Ebon Illusion Magician. And he probably could have cited Secret Village instead of Nadir. That's all I got. Feel free to roast me in the comments if you disagree with all the shit I'm saying. But anyway, this video is too fucking long, so I'm out. Peace!